Welcome to The Brain Dump, where we study the psychology of success. Join us as we probe the habits, rituals, and routines of top-performing artists, entrepreneurs, authors, athletes, and more to uncover the timeless principles we can all use to take our lives to the next level. Are you ready to plunge the grunge that's been gunking up your mind's eye? Great, then let's get to it.
Okay.
Guys, welcome back to, did I say the right podcast the first time? I don't even know if I did.
You did.
Okay,
you did.
Welcome to the Brain Dump podcast. Yes, I don't know how you're going to get them right now that you have three, but I digress. So welcome back to the Brain Dump. We're just going to jump right in here to the topic today. And the topic is simple. Mentors. I believe, and I haven't fully formed this idea, and it's kind of a two-edged kind of topic. At what point have you consumed enough knowledge, guidance, and all that stuff for you to step out on your own? And then what is, in Anthony's definition, a true mentor? Because I know you have some interesting things on this. It's, you don't have a coach, you don't have these things, and you have your opinions about certain people and their content. So I'm curious to kind of just get your overall take on this subject.
So this is new as of like a month ago, as I do. My partner, Dan, and I at Invictus, we did bring in a business coach. So we've been working a little bit with a business coach.
Out of the real estate sector or no?
No, more on the sales side. And so that's been interesting. Like I'm a big fan of coaching. I think it's important. I've always just had a hard time finding coaches that I click with because, the coach is teaching you the tactics, is like how to do the thing, the foundational, like how do I dribble the ball and put it in the hoop, right? Mm-hmm. And that stuff hasn't always been the stuff that I struggle with. Like I picked that up pretty quickly and I can learn it through a book. So my coaches tend to come from books. The mentor, though, the way I think about a mentor is it's not really the person who's teaching you the fundamentals. It's the person that's helping you with the vision and helping you figure out like the trajectory of your life or your business. And then it's for you to figure out the tactics and the skills that need to accumulate. So in that relationship, like a mentor, they need to really understand where it is that you're trying to go. They need to understand you as a person. So it's a very different relationship than a coach. For me, that's how I think about it. And this is all semantics, obviously, but this is how I think about it. And this is why it's very difficult to find a mentor. You can't just pay for a mentor, I think. I think it has to be an organic relationship that just evolves over time. And I think what you're going through right now is the question of like, when have you outgrown that mentor? Because it does happen.
A couple of them. Yeah. A couple of them. And then on the back end,
and that's a good thing. That's the goal, right? Yeah.
And on the back end of that, also obviously unwarranted emotions too. So there's a lot there, ambiguity, but I want to, before we dive into all that can of worms, I've never heard somebody articulate that so well, because I think that's the disconnect between what people are hiring and what people think they're getting. Because I think a lot of people think that I'm going to walk and talk and breathe for them, when ultimately I'm just looking at where they want to go and helping them get there. So that's a really good point that I've never thought about before. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, I've been coaching for the last 7 months with Jake and Gino, right? So working with, their new students that are coming. I find it like it's a lot of fun taking people who want to learn about multifamily investing and helping them. And they call me the accountability coach. And I'm like, in my very first call with every student, I'm like, listen, I'm not your accountability coach. That's not what I'm here to do. Like you just paid a ton of money to be in this group. You're a high achiever. You don't need me holding you accountable. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be your babysitter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be your direction and perspective coach. I'm going to help you figure out where you're trying to go to. I'm going to help you identify the roadblocks in your way and stop you from walking down the wrong path as early as possible. So I'm here for direction and perspective. I'm not going to teach you how to underwrite. I'm not going to teach you how to underwrite or like analyze a market. I'm going to help you consider the thought process that you are applying to different markets or to this deal. But I expect you to be working on the raw fundamental skill, because that stuff, there's YouTube videos for that. There's books out there for that. What there isn't out there is the ability to talk to me and say, what would you do? Right. And that's what you're getting with me.
Dude, this is a game changing argument. My mind is like melting inside of it right now because I'm only reading Dan Sullivan right now. That's a whole nother topic. I'll talk to you about that offline right now. But yesterday we had a really big call for my clients. So I'm coaching an entire company, 3 management guys. It was one of the biggest calls of their career, with a big VP of a company that has 300,000 lives in the health insurance space, that knows everybody, could change their entire trajectory, right? And the CEO got the call wrong, what time it was, and he was on a plane coming back from a conference. So only the sales guy could be on the call. And they were like, should we reschedule? And I was like, guys, this is not a call you reschedule. Figure it out. And so I wasn't going to be on the call, but I joined the call for support. You know, I'm coaching them on what they should do. And I have been telling them for a month and a half, it's not the product you're selling. It's the reason you're selling. It's not the product you're selling. It's the story of why you started this company. And so he went into this thing about why, because he beat cancer twice, and, you know, the story that the CEO had. And he calls me after the call and he says, you couldn't have been more right. He said, I've been on 40 of those, and that's the first time that somebody ate it up, every bit of it, what we were about, the mission of the company. And now they're looking like they're going to do business together. And he goes, that's you harping for a month and a half that we're not in the product business, we're in the people business. And that's what a coach does. That's what I did for them. I didn't tell them how to run their company. I didn't tell them how to hire. And no, I'm happy to guide them or help them, but that's the perspective that they're looking for. Is that outside? I'm not even in the health insurance space, but I know people. And so that's why you hire me. Big.
Yeah. And to that end, like, that's what we brought in a coach for, is not to tell us what to do and how to do it, but to see how we're doing it and say, like, give us that perspective. Are we achieving how we think we are? Are we conveying how we think we are? And this is going to be different depending on where you are in your skill acquisition or your business cycle, your life cycle, right? Like, some people are like, when you first got sober and you first started losing weight, right? Like, you probably needed like somebody to physically hold your hand and show you the path here's what you need to do. And
I had to have somebody like Omar, who had been 15 years in sobriety, who could handle a fucking charging bull. Like, he handled me because he would just let me machine gun my bullshit for like 5 minutes on my, you know, as soon as I jump on Zoom, I'm like, I want to do this. And he's just like sitting there like, okay, when are you going to slow down? And when are you going to get out of breath? And then he would be like, okay, well, what if we did this? Now, if I would have had a business coach in that time, it would have been useless. Well, now what I need is, I'm building businesses and my coaching business is getting big. I have a group of coaches who are teaching me coaching technique with sales and how to structure calls. That's what I need now. And so I think a lot of people don't understand. And this goes back to your thing about outgrowing your mentors. It's like, there's a scary moment, and we're living it currently. I'm living it currently, where all this is on me. Every single decision, there is nobody to call. I can, but there's nobody to call, nor do I want to. There is a time and space where the net is completely removed. And this is the first time in my life where I've created a double 6-figure business, and there's about 3 more to come in this year, probably, where this is all on me, the taxes, the hiring and everything. And it's pretty crazy, right? And I was thinking about it this morning when I was walking. You know, I think my next coach will be like kind of like a private equity kind of building company kind of scenario, you know, project manager kind of guy. Cause that's kind of my whole, and I know that about myself, but isn't this come down to one really simple thing to find the right mentor or coach is 100% honesty of self-awareness with oneself.
Oh yeah. 100%. And this is like, you're saying some things that like really resonate with, I think, anybody who runs a business. When you're first starting it, you probably get this conceptually, but it doesn't really hit until maybe like the first tax season or the first time you get audited and you realize like, holy shit, I was supposed to be keeping all these records of these things for new hires and all that other stuff. And like, this is the really unsexy part of running a business. But like for the last week, like this is all I've been reading every morning. Like, you know, I have an hour of like learning time, and this is the just Employer's Guide to Employment Law Issues in Minnesota. I've read it before because we have like 40 employees, but it's one of those things that's like, I don't remember everything in there. I need to know this stuff really well so that I can hold our HR department accountable and say, are you doing this? Can I audit the files? Because at the end of the day, like if the files aren't there, if they're not being done to standard, that's on me. Mm-hmm. I hired somebody to do it, but if they're not doing it, that's on me. And I need to know whether they are or not. Right?
And this is something that's very interesting, right? Because what does everybody say? I want a business. Dude, you know what's really a great job? A fucking badass salesman. You got no responsibility. You get to do whatever the fuck you want. There's a lot of days that I wish my mission and my calling was for me to go be a sales guy for some of these crypto and fucking hedge funds. And I would wreck. And I would work 4 days a week. I'd make fucking $500,000 a year, and I'd have no responsibilities, no taxes, none of the things. But that's not my calling, and I'm okay with that. But don't let that slide past you guys. Everybody's out there saying they want all these things, the taxes, the lawyers, and I learned it real quick setting up this fund. You haven't lived until you sat on 1.5 hour calls with lawyers about structure, and you're like, this is boring as fuck. Can we just go buy properties? But guess what? If we don't do this, we're going to get sued big time. Yeah.
Yep.
So super important.
Yep. It's the unsexy part of running a business that it's really easy to gloss over. It's really easy to take for granted because it's hard. It's scary because one of the interesting things is like, I remember when I came out of high school, like I had no idea for a long time coming out of high school, probably until I was like 25, 26. I had no idea that there was a lot of things I was supposed to be doing as an adult, like from a legal standpoint, from taxes. Let's take that, for example, where I'm like,
nothing,
because there's no, like, your parent isn't there. The government isn't looking over your shoulder to be like, remember, you have to do this thing. Like, you just have to do it. And somehow you have to know that you're supposed to do it too. So it's like, there's some things that they don't teach you in school. You figure it out as you get older. But like entrepreneurship is one of those things where it's like, you start doing it and you're like, there's all these things that you're supposed to do that nobody's going to tell you that you're supposed to do. You have to figure out what you don't know. And ignorance is not an excuse for non-compliance at the end of the day, which is really like, it sucks. But and I want to circle back real quick. So go ahead.
Well, it's really interesting, right? As you get older, I'm gravitating towards all the unsexy shit, and my businesses and my mindset is going all towards the monotonous, simple things, because I know if I master those and keep my eyes on those, I will outpace and be better than 90% of my whoever they are, because they won't be paid attention to those things.
Yeah. And that stuff can really trip you up. That stuff can make or break a business. But to the circling back to the original topic of mentorship, one of the questions you hear people ask a lot of times is, how do I find a mentor? And that's a big question. And my answer has always been, you can't go out and just find that person. It's like finding your next husband or wife. You don't just go to the bar and just start asking people, will you be my husband? Will you be my wife? Like, first you have to go and be somebody that's worth being a partner of, right? Like, you have to work on yourself, make yourself into somebody that somebody wants to marry. And then you go out there into the world and present your best self, and that person will eventually arise, right? Like, and that's how I think about mentors, is that when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And it's hard. I haven't found a mentor yet that I could just go and pay, because as soon as I'm paying them, a lot of times it's more of a coaching relationship suddenly. So I don't know, guys, if you want to find a mentor, audit the space, audit.
Yeah. It's really funny that you say that. So I've had, in the last 2 weeks, I've had 3 people reach out to me. They're like, hey, I need to join, a high accountability group, blah, blah, blah. I need to do this. Right. And they're like, who do you recommend? And I'm like, to be honest with you, none of them. So what we decided to do instead was I'm taking about 5 to 6 people. Maybe we're going to get up to 10 max, and we're going to create our own group. And these are all people in different sectors that have different specialties that are all very, very high achievers. And we're going to meet twice a year and audit each other's businesses, and I'm going to steal some stuff from my other masterminds I've been in and just create my own accountability group of people pushing. Because what I'm finding, there's a lot of people that are really good at business, but they're not really good at investing. And so they need, expertise from that sector. And then I need help they're really good in the health sector. Right. And then, I want to get a CPA and a lawyer in the group. Right. And we kind of have all our bases covered in our own little incubator. Right. That's what I'm looking to do. And so.
Yeah. And that's actually one of our avatars at Invictus Capital. Who do we serve? We serve business owners who are really good at building businesses, who don't necessarily know much about investing, or they do know a lot about investing, and they know that real estate can play a role in that. And how do they grow a portfolio? And it's really interesting because the skills that will allow you and enable you to be a great business person will also enable you to be a good investor, but they don't come at the same time. Like, just because you're good at building a business doesn't mean you're good at investing. And I was in a mastermind with Tom Bilyeu, who is sold Quest Nutrition for $1 billion, a high level guy. And he's like, it's only been in the last year that I've started learning about investing. He's like, I shit you not. He's like, I was stupid before. He's like, I'm really good at making money. I never thought I needed to worry about investing or any of that stuff because I could just go make more. And he's like, as I started diving into this, he's like, I kid you not. He's like, I did not understand the concept of inflation. I did not get it. Mm-hmm. So when you look at somebody who's worth like $1 billion and they're like, I don't understand investing, it makes you feel better as somebody maybe a couple of pegs below that to be like, yeah, all right, maybe I don't understand as well as I should either. And so that kind of opens the gateway for you to be like, well, let's do something about that.
100%. I love that. Guys, if you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking for a coach, just find something that you can add value to them and be relentless in the pursuit. If you believe that they're the person that you need to be, it's how I found mine on Instagram, and just constantly provided value. And, it's served me so much over my lifetime. And, it's just super important to see somebody, but this is something I really want to harp on. Make sure that they are a good human being in all areas of their life, not just business. Make sure that they're a good husband, a good spouse, they're healthy, all that stuff, because you're looking to model yourself and be mentored by somebody that is hitting his life sectors and pillars in all areas of the life. So make sure that you don't just look at how much money he's making, because that could be kind of smoke and mirrors. So
I concur.
So send this episode to a friend, share it with somebody that'll get some value, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us here at The Brain Dump. Now, before you go, it's important to solidify what you've learned here today by taking action. If all you do is listen, then you're only going to retain a small amount of the information you consumed here today. So take a quick moment to really lock in any key insights, tidbits, or pieces of wisdom that you want to carry with you into the future. You can do this by heading over to iTunes and leaving a review with your top 3 takeaways from this episode. If you've already left a review, first, thank you so much. Second, it's time to start a brain dump journal. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a slip of paper will do, where you can record a couple quick thoughts from each episode. Science shows this is one of the best ways to ensure long-term retention of new information. And finally, if you've got a brother, a sister, a coworker, or a best friend that you think would benefit from this episode, do them and us a favor and share with them this episode. Your support, as always, means the world to us.